Designing your sales screen, creating buttons and menus. So to design the sales screen, go to Sales Designer on the main menu here, and you will see 7 default buttons that come with the starter template. If you don't see any buttons there, and if you click on Template Options and you click Full Edit Mode, and you still see nothing there, then just go to Current Page, Special Tools, Insert Starter Templates, but it should be there ready to go. Okay, so your first job is to create some buttons. Now, just to remind everybody, the buttons are there for products that they either don't scan or are too heavy to lift onto the counter. Or, for example, if you're a bar or restaurant or any kind of business that doesn't have a barcode scanner. So to create a new button, you simply click Photo button like this, choose a colour, so I'm going to choose red, and there's the red button. You can then drag that around and move it into position, and that's all you have to do. If you want to create another button, just make sure nothing's selected, click Photo button, click a colour, and that's it. That will create a new button. You can resize these buttons however you want there, like that. They can be any size. You can, if I create another button like, say, that colour, and if you're not happy with the colour, then with the button selected, just simply press Photo button, choose the new colour. So let's choose, say, green, and that's it. That's all you have to do is to change a colour. If you'd like to put some text on it, just click on Display Text here, and then type in what you want. So actually I'll call it Menu 1, and that's all. Or you can right click it and go Set Display Text, and then Menu 2, like that. Okay. If you need to do multiple lines, you can also click this little pencil here, and that will say Menu 3, some more text. So if you need multiple lines, that's how you would do it. Alright, you can actually click and drag and actually multi-select like that if you need to bulk move any of the items or objects. If the button is going to have more items, objects, products behind them, then just give it a display text like this. You don't have to have photo buttons. You can also use solid colours if you want. So you can just choose a nice solid colour. They may work a bit better for tills or computers that maybe aren't as powerful, because these orb looking buttons here are vectors, so they may take a bit more horsepower on the computer to render. You can also use a shaded button, so if you choose 2 colours, so if I choose, say, that one and that one, and you can choose an angle, and if you click that, you'll get a shaded button as well if you want one. If you want to go inside a button, all you've got to do is double click it. If you want to go back out of it, click Current Page and go back, or press F2 on a keyboard if you have one, like this. Alternatively, you can click Navigate and click Menu 1 and do that as well if you're only using a touchscreen and the button moves too much. Press Go Back and you can go back again. So let's start making some more buttons now. So I'm going to double click Menu 1 like this, and if I click on Object, I could start drawing a load of buttons like we did before, like this. Okay, and that's fine. But let's delete all these. So I'm going to bulk select them all and press Delete Selected here. Alternatively, you can press DEL on your keyboard, or just right click the button and press Delete Objects here as well. Any one of those 3 is fine. If you want to make loads of buttons though, there's a much easier way. Click Draw Multiple, like that, so it's enabled. And now when you click Photo button and choose a colour, so I'll choose like orangey red colour here, it will ask me how many buttons do we want to make. Okay, now I suggest using a square number like 4, 9, 16 or 25. If you need more than 25, I'll show you a good alternative in a minute. So let's choose 16. Okay, if you needed like 12 or 13, always round up to the nearest square number, in my opinion. Because if you choose, say, 12, you'll just be missing these last 4 boxes here. Okay, then turn that back off and you're ready to go again. It also creates us a little back button here as well. Don't double click it because it will only work on the sales screen. It's a function button. But you can still go back up here on the ribbon bar at the top. There's no save, it's always saving. So if you close this screen and go back to sales mode, there's our screen ready to go. Now these buttons don't do anything because we haven't put anything behind them. But if we click on menu 1, we can see it's already working. You can press back and it will go back. Alternatively, you can always press home on the sales screen, which will always take you back to the first ever home page. So back to Sales Designer, let's keep going. So we're going to go into menu 1, double click that. Now if I want another menu within these to lead to more, I just put display text, more options, like that. Maybe make it a different color and double click it. And again, we could draw ourselves another 16 boxes like that. Okay, and then go back and go back. If the product already exists in your system, then you could search for the product and add, but we haven't got any products in at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Object, and I want to create a new product and add it to this button here. Okay, so I'm going to say Insert New Product and Adds a Button. And this comes up with the new product dialog box. We have to give it a product name. So you want to write the name as descriptive as possible. Okay, so manufacturer, name of the product, size, shape, weight or color. This is not necessarily the same name that's going to go on the button. Okay, so for example, let's say, let's just call this Object Example 1. Okay, we've got to give it a selling price. Let's say £1. Tick. And I'm just going to leave the rest of this for the moment. I'm just going to go straight to tick. And that will do 3 things. Firstly, it's created a product in our system. So if I just press search now, I will see there's a product in our inventory that's called Object Example 1. Secondly, when that button is clicked, it will put one Object Example 1 into the cart. Thirdly, because the button's name was blank, it made the button's name the same as the product's name. But we can change that. We can click on this and just say Object 1, like that. So what the button can say something completely different to the product's name. So if we try this out, if we close that and go back to sales mode, you can see when you click menu 1, Object 1, the product is actually Object Example 1. That's what's going to come on the receipt. But this can just say Object 1. This is very useful for if you're navigating 3 levels deep. You could just have, say, a flavour or something, but the product's full name could be the manufacturer name, flavour, size, shape and colour and everything else. Again, we can click on more options and go back. So already it's starting to take shape, this sales screen. So we go back to the Sales Designer, menu 1, Object 1, and we could then create another one over here, Insert New Product, and I'm going to call this Object Example 2. And this one can be £2. Tick. And again, we can change the name of this to be something completely different, like that. If we go back there, as I said, we've got menu 1, menu 2 and so on. Sometimes a product could be such a big seller, you can actually have it in 2 places at the same time. So I could actually have a button down there, maybe make it a bit smaller. Press search up here, click on Object Example 1 and just click this plus here. And that will put that product onto this button here. Again, it changes the name for us, so we could change this name to anything we want. Because the name was blank, so because the button was blank, we can give it any name we want to. So again, I'll call it Object 1. So now, there's 2 places to put this product in. You could do it in here, like that, or you could put it in like this. You can also use the arrow keys to move buttons up and down, like that. You can also right click and specify their location by the X and Y coordinates or center them horizontally, vertically, and so on. Most of the time, though, it's much easier just to drag them around. If you don't want them to be able to be moved around very easily, just press lock all buttons, and now you can't move the button around. Very useful for touchscreens where the button has a habit of jumping around a bit. Okay, so you can also press this home button, which will always take us right back to the home screen there. Another thing you can do is on menu 1, I said, what if you need more than, say, 16 boxes or 25 boxes? A good little trick is to click the last box. Just make it, we only ever set the display text generally if it's going to have more buttons inside it. So I'm going to say, next page. Let's give it a different colour. Purple. That's a great way of being able to make a next page. Just double click it, draw multiple, photo button, orange, choose 16 in this case, 16, and there we go. So it will give the illusion that we're scrolling across to the right, but we're not. We're really just having buttons that do the buttons that have products associated with them, with the same page having buttons that have more objects inside them too. So when we're using that, we can click on that, and if we need more, we'll just press next page, but we can also go back. So we can go back and forward, back and forward. It does give a very good illusion that you're scrolling across the screen.